I came to realize that the love that I seek has been right here since the beginning.
What's up? What's up? What's up? It's Jay Shep, and I'm here with my very first episode of Artist to Artist. So excited. And you're listening to the sounds of a guy that I've known for a little while. And he's going to jump in. We're going to do an interview. We're going to talk to him about his process, his life, just his inspiration. And I'm just so excited to be doing the show, because it's time for artists to really have platforms where we share with one another in an unbiased fashion. So I'm so excited to be doing this. So we're gonna wait for a second for him to jump in, Gary Mays. But we're listening to one of his new songs from his new album, Victory in Black and White. The song is called Real Meaning of True Love. Man, it's blazing. Feel free to share this.
Let's go. Search the world from coast to coast. Ask my friends who my cherished most, but they don't know. Real meaning of true love. What it is, anybody know? I think it's Jesus, the real meaning.
So this song right here, Real Meaning of True Love, I can't wait to sit and talk to him about this, because when I heard this song, I was just like, this vibe right here, you know. I'm listening to some incredible singers, Houston's own Jabari Johnson, who just signed a record deal with E1, and the incomparable Zacardi Cortez. It doesn't get any better than that. So I think Gary Mays is ready to be added in. We're going to talk to him right now. What's up, family?
What's going on, fam?
Man, I'm good. So I had to play a little bit of this Real Meaning of True Love. So just so you know, I can't stop playing that song.
Oh, that's the one?
I can't. Well, so the album is the one. So you know how we do you know how we do when it comes to music. It's like anytime I hear records like this, and feel free to share this post, everybody that's watching. When I hear albums like this, it just really gets me excited, because I go, what was this person thinking at this point in time? And then to have Jabari and to have Zacardi on it, like, I'm like, man, you just trying to like destroy everything moving, like the horn arrangements, like. So I didn't want to dive into that too quick, you know. So first and foremost, thank you for joining me on my very first. My wife is here. Tell him to scoot over. So you know, my wife is my. She's making it. She's my producer.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I know all about that.
She's producing me. She's like, scoot to the left, and I'm, you know, thank you. First of all, thank you for agreeing to be my very first person that I interviewed. This is something that's new, but it's something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I'm always interested in sitting down and talking to people, and I want to really get to know. She said a little more. Okay. There we go. All right.
She did it, and she did it with a kiss. Tell her thank you, man. She did it with a kiss. Tell her thank you, bro. You all thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Steve.
Listen, you know how it is, man. You know
Absolutely, bro.
And we gonna
Absolutely,
dive
bro.
into that too, about just married life and just what it's
Yeah,
like.
man.
And,
Yeah,
you know,
man.
But let's start from. And first of all, thank you everyone for joining us, artist to artist. And my purpose for this show is to bring insight and to inspire others, because we never know the full weight of the journey that people have gone through that we admire. And I believe that artists and all creatives go through certain things, and we deal with stuff. And sometimes people want to know our process, as well as the things that, you know, that we have to fight through to get to where we are. And so what I want to start with is the title of your album, Victory in Black and White. Where did that come from? What's the significance of the title of this project?
Well, the album started out being, they called me Joseph Joe David, which was the initial title. And I just started looking back over my life, man, and I kept continue listening to the records, and it sounded more like victory, because when I look back at where I've come from, and I don't mean where I've come from since my last recording, since my last record. I'm talking about my entire life, from, you know, my childhood, young lad, young adult, fatherhood, marriage, everything. This is major victory for me to get to this point, you know. So I decided to go with, you know, victory in black and white. And, you know, anything black and white, you can tell it's black and you can tell it's white. There's no gray. This is clear.
Right.
So this is my victory in black and white.
I like that. So how long has it been since your last album?
I released Diary of a Strong Soldier in July of 2007. That was the last time I actually released a full-length album. Now, I did do, what I didn't want to do is take too much of a break, because, you know, out of sight, out of mind. And I didn't want the people to think that I was no longer going to do music, because music and ministry is in my heart. So I was going to do it as long as they want to hear it. And so I put out an EP, which was, they called me Joseph Joe David. And that was back in 2014. So, but my full-length record, the last time I put out a full, you know, body of work was 18 songs, 2007, Diary of a Strong Soldier.
Now that's the one with Hit the Deck on it, right?
Hit the deck. Absolutely.
Man, so like, I still remember when I moved to Houston in 2010. And so I think I heard, the first time I heard your name was right around 2007 or 8. Yeah. Right around that time when it came out. And when I heard Hit the Deck, I was like, what the heck? Because, like, man, I want to give you your props, bro, because when I listened to this record, I said, we are listening to gospel music excellence, gospel music royalty, perfection. I hear all those things. When I listen to your music, I don't hear somebody who's trying to do something. I hear someone who is at the top of their game, who's refined, who doesn't have to answer to anybody. That's what I hear.
Chef, I got to stop you. Will you please give the people a disclaimer and tell them I didn't pay you to say any of this? You said all this on your...
Listen.
Okay, all right.
Listen. He didn't pay. Listen, I'm telling you. So this is another reason why I want to do these shows, is because I feel sometimes that people are not celebrated nearly enough.
Right.
Like the credit that people are supposed to get. Like I'm listening to this Real Meaning of True Love, and I'm listening to the horn arrangements in this song, and I'm like, I've never heard a better horn arrangement than that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm listening to the intro of this, you know, it's like you could have did that intro for Beyonce at Coachella. You know what I'm saying? Like what I'm hearing when I hear you is it doesn't get any better than G Maze.
Wow. Sweet,
you know what I'm saying?
Appreciate it, man.
And so I want to really, like, you know, let you know, like, because I think it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago you hit me up and you sent me a couple of songs, and I was driving my kids home from school, and I was just like, dude, like literally, like when you sent me the worship song, like I literally had to like hold back because I was like, this is what it's about. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
The
absolutely.
expression of an artist. And when I listened, because I remember you did this recording in, was it 2016 that you recorded?
16, yeah,
Okay.
June 2016.
Okay, and I remember that because I wasn't living in, I was already living out here in LA, and I couldn't get to it, and
Right.
so I didn't know you dropped a single last year, was it?
Yeah, Grateful.
Okay, Grateful,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that you love. So I heard that, I was like, man, he finna drop this whole album like soon. So it kind of felt like when I listened to this record, you know, this is what it made me feel like, the whole album. You ever been to somebody's house and you know they can cook and you super hungry and you smell the food and they give you the bomb appetizer, but they like, look, shrimp and grits ain't ready. You're going to have to wait another hour. And you can't get mad because you know when it's time to eat.
It's going to be right.
Take us through your process of how you got all of these songs ready for this record.
Man, Shep, I really want to be able to give, when I do interviews, I always want to be able to give people like the real super dope, sexy story. But I don't have one, man. I don't have one. It's just, for whatever reason, man, God allows me to borrow his pen, gives me a subject to write to, and tells me to, you know, go with my heart. He'll correct whatever he needs to correct as we go. And that's it, man. I don't really have like this, I was riding on a glory cloud and Spirit of God just fell all over me. And, you know, my wife was sitting there and she started to cry and she started whispering words in my ear and I wrote them down and that's the song. I don't have that, man. I just have simply just either fasting or God just speaking to me while I'm driving. A lot of times I'm in my car, I don't have anything on. I just be driving in silence, and that's when he just starts to speak, man. He speaks so clearly. It's much better when you're in silence and when you can actually hear every word he's saying. Because you know you can hear a lot of stuff when a lot is going on. You can hear, but when there's dead silence, man, you can hear and you can pick up on everything that he's saying to you so clear. Like I have a GED, man. You know, I'm a GED dude, so I can't ever say it's because of my higher education. You know, I went to college basically in California because in the state of California, you can go to college in junior college and get your GED while you're attending school. So I can't blame it on my education. I was 16 in the 8th grade. So I can't blame it on my education. Like, this is nothing but God. So I don't know what to tell you. Y'all have to talk to God about how all this came about because honest to God, I have no answers. And that's honest to God.
Take us, see, and that's something that I didn't know about you. Take us through that. How did it end up coming where you got your GED, where you didn't graduate from high school? Like what was your path, you know, as a child? Like what was life like for Gary Mays as a child?
Yo, one of the reasons why my album turned into Victory in Black and White is because of all of the defeat that I took as a kid. And even though I was defeated then, looking at my victory now, it was all worth it. You know, I've gone to, I don't know how many different, you know, I went to, I don't know how many different elementary schools. It was like 5 or 6 elementary schools, 4 or 5 middle schools, a shelter, one high school. But it was like every year I was in a different place, man. Every year from maybe 7 or 8 years old, I can remember never being anywhere longer than 2 years. Everywhere it was always something different. But I believe it all. But the funny thing about it, that's why I don't look at it as defeat now. It looks like my victory because a lot of those places that I live now, you can't lose me in Houston. I don't care where I am in Houston. If I'm in Houston, I can find my way out of it because I lived on every part of Houston. Schools, I learned how to deal with certain people. I learned how to deal with this set of people. I lived in Clinton Park, so I had to deal with kids in Clinton Park, was basically the hood. You know, I lived in Lakewood. You know, it was basically a hood, but it was a little bit heavier hood. You know, I lived in Studewood. I lived in off of Yale and Barkwood Apartments and Yale Village Apartments. Anybody that's from Houston, Texas area, you know Houston, that side of town was never just easy to live in. You had to get it in.
Right.
Like, so I don't look at any of it as bad now. It was a defeat. I felt defeated then, but now I'm in my victory. And this, man, from living from this place to that place, really being mentally abused and physically abused by my biological mom. Like, we don't even have a relationship now. I have 1,001 moms. You know, the person that I consider my mother to this day has been Betty Johnson, and she's been in my life since '88. And she and her husband, my pop, who passed away about 5.5 years ago, they took me in as much as they could take me in. I wasn't there all the time, but if I needed someone, I could always depend on them. If I needed somewhere to stay, I could stay with them. If I needed to borrow $1, they gave me $2. So it was always, you know, I've had a trying early years, but it all got me to where I am now, man. I'm a married man with, you know, more kids, and all my kids are doing well. Some in college, going to college, still in high school, doing great. You know, my daughter's graduating in December. I guess I have no problems with where I am now, man, because I'm walking in victory now.
Wow. So like, it's always amazing. And thank you guys for joining us on Artist to Artist. I'm sitting here talking to my good friend Gary Mays, an amazing artist, gospel artist, musician, producer, singer, songwriter, you name it. And he's telling his story of, you know, how he got to this place of victory. And, you know, there are a lot of people who have dealt with these similar issues of abuse and just instability. You know, tell us, for someone who may have a story of being abused by a loved one, a parent, a spouse, a sibling, or what have you, give us a practical tool to walk away with how to cope with it. Because a lot of people deal with these situations, but they don't really, they turn to other things to numb the pain. And so
Absolutely.
What's something that you can kind of give practically to people to deal with these issues?
I told I did my interview recently with a young lady, Tiffany LaShawn, and she was dealing with bullying and mental abuse, and how being bullied can turn into some sort of mental abuse. Like, you can start feeling like, maybe I'm not worth living. You know, when you got all these different people who are abusing me, you know, what can I do? Me, I fell in love with basketball, and I use basketball as my tool to keep me happy. I use music as my tool to keep me happy. You know, when I had those things, as long as I had music and basketball, all the bullying and all the abuse, whether it was physical, emotional, or mental, it didn't matter. I allowed myself to dive into those two things, and it worked out for me. You know, everybody thought I was going to end up in the NBA because I was really good at basketball. You know, but that wasn't the plan that God had for me. I got to college, everything was looking upward, and not even 2.5 months after being in college in California, man, it was in a spot called Kalinga, California, right outside. It's between Fresno and Bakersfield. And after only being there about 2 months, I became deathly ill. And
Really?
it was oh man, it was scary. You know, I wear hats now because of the fashion. I was wearing hats back then because I was trying to cover up the scars that I had during those times. I had 2 big knots in the back of my head, Shep. Big knots, man, and they were filled with infection. And I didn't know the seriousness of them. And while I was in college, a buddy of mine's like, "Yo, G, I can't cut your hair today, man, because you know you have something going on here. You need to go to the hospital." So I go to the hospital, and they're like, "Well, yeah, you have Coxie. So here's some pills. Take these pills." And Coxie is it's called valley fever, but coccidiomycosis is a horrible viral thing that you can get, and it affects you in ways, migraine headaches, nausea, some of everything. It was bad, man. It was real bad. But I go to the doctor, they give me pills and tell me, okay, start taking these twice a day and you'll be fine. So it's supposed to be just that simple. I take the pills and I go home for Christmas break. And while I'm home for Christmas break, my girlfriend at the time, which is my oldest son's mom, I'm begging them like, yo, please call the ambulance. Something's not right. I don't feel well. Something's not right. And I'm having these horrible, horrible chest pains. And me, I'm 19, man. I don't know nothing about heart attacks, and I'm scared this can't be a heart attack, but get me to the doctor. Let's find out for sure. I get there, man, and they go through all these tests. They took me through tests for 2 days, man. 2 days. And finally they came back to tell me, yes, you do have Coxie, and you have it at a level that's extremely like high. And if you didn't come in when you came in, and we started doing these, and that was the thing. I wasn't supposed to be taking pills. They were supposed to give it to me through IV so I can get into my bloodstream faster. But the pills didn't do anything. So it made it worse. So, man, it was, I should have known something was wrong, man. I was at a Jamie Foxx concert. I never forget it, man. I was at a Jamie Foxx concert at the Coliseum in Houston. And I had this extreme, I felt like at any given moment, my head could just honestly just explode, like on cartoons when people get real mad and their head explode. I just knew my head was going to eventually explode in front of everybody because that's how bad it was. And later on that night, I got home, and my girlfriend at the time, Christy, I told her, like, I don't feel well. Something's not right. Call the ambulance. She called the ambulance. She rode in the ambulance with me. We go there. I end up staying in the hospital for 2.5 months for them to get me right, man. I went from being 165 pounds to 180 pounds once I got to college. And by November, the latter part of November is when everything started going south. From November until May, I went from 183 pounds to 120 pounds.
Yikes.
Yeah, and it was bad, man. I had some of my old high school friends saw me at the Galveston Beach, took a picture of me and started circulating and telling everybody I was dying of AIDS. Yeah, it was bad. Oh yeah, it was bad, man. But once again, that's another form of mental abuse. That's another form of bullying. Like, why would you do that? I'm dealing with something real serious right now. But hey, man, I tell this story all the time. Shortly after that, after I was released from the hospital, I went to Grady St. Matthews for a concert, man. And she's probably gonna kill me for telling this story, but I tell it all the time. But Josette Montgomery, some of you may know her, but Joe, she could see that I wasn't doing well because I didn't look well. I looked like I was ill. It was pretty, like, these knots were not. They wasn't normal, man. It wasn't normal at all. But these knots it was pretty bad, and it was filled with infection. It was filled with infection, and she, not knowing, went to the one person who I wouldn't mind praying for me and told him, "Can you please come pray for Gary? Something's not right, and I just want to make sure that he's covered." She went and got my godmother, Phyllis Kennedy, of all people. She went and got my godmother. All those people that were at that church that night. She found my godmother, not knowing that she was my godmother. She just went and asked a minister that she knew was a minister to come and pray with me, and it just so happened to be my godmother. My godmother came out there, laid her hands on my head, man, and prayed and prayed. Dude, I was so furious. Like, I was to the highest level of festivity with Joe, because I'm like, how could you do that? Why would you go and grab somebody and tell somebody to come pray? I'm all carnal, man. I ain't saved yet, man. I don't know. I don't really know God like I know. I should have known. But I'm upset. I know church, but I didn't know God. So she prayed, and the next morning, man, Shep, the next morning, God is my witness. The next morning, I woke up because I felt something coming off my pillow. And when I was able to raise and look down at my pillow, the entire infection, I hope it doesn't gross anybody out, but all the infection that was in my head was on my pillow. It just came out.
Wow.
Gone. And I've
forever.
had no problems with Coxie since that day. And that was in 1993, man. That was 1993. And when I say it was gone, my head went back to normal. Yeah, my hair came back over it. It didn't look like it was, man, that was a whole nother level, man. But
man,
yeah, having to deal with all that type of stuff, like, the bullying, as far as back to the original point, the bullying, I always use music and I use basketball, because the point I was making, if it hadn't been for me getting sick in college, man, I believe I would have been in the league. I always tell people all the time, Allen Iverson stole my story. He stole my story because the exact same thing that happened to Allen Iverson happened to me. And I should have been. And crazy thing is, I would have been in the league in 1996 had I stayed in school 4 years.
Wow.
That would have been my story. So I always tell people all the time, Allen Iverson stole my story. And I have friends and family that can tell you, like basketball for real, Shep, that was my thing, man. That was my thing. I was still playing music. I still played drums. You know, I wasn't into producing yet, but I was a basketball player. You know, even now, people, you know, they still talk about it. I run into some old friends and old high school rivals and whatever. They talk about, you know, our times, our head-to-heads. So, but God wanted to, he had another plan, man. And he had another plan, so he used country.
I got a few homies that have definitely played with you. I don't play ball, but I definitely watch it. I'm a critique. And I saw you, you was mad at Chris Webber the other night.
Oh, my God, man.
He's going in on Chris Webber.
Yo, you can it got to the point where I was ready to mute my TV and do like Shannon Sharp does, because I honestly believe I don't want people to allow me into their arena based upon like relationships. If I can't do a job right, I shouldn't have that job. And I honestly don't believe Chris Webber is made for TV. I believe he should go and be a motivational speaker, tell people how he overcame, how he was a great basketball player, how he called the timeouts and he was able to overcome that and get into the league and become a great player. But that's the reason why Magic Johnson is no longer doing commentation. You know, he doesn't commentate anymore because he wasn't good at it, but he was a great player.
It's Michael Jordan's game.
You remember that, dude?
Remember that? Whose game?
92, though. 92. I'll never forget that, though. But yeah, he was annoying, man. He was annoying.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Man, yeah, because we've had our share of basketball debates. I know
absolutely.
You're huge
100%.
I'm a LeBron fan, but I stay loyal. I'm Chicago all day. So you know, I still say Jordan is the GOAT. And
yo, here's where and I know we can't do this for long, so I'm gonna get on it and get off of it.
No, it's all good.
Okay. Michael Jordan to me is the greatest basketball player to ever, like the strongest game-changing basketball player to ever do it, man. But I honestly believe in my heart of hearts that LeBron James is the best all-around basketball player we've ever seen. Period. And the reason why I don't like them, I hate trying to do the comparison between Mike and LeBron is because they're two different players. Like LeBron has never been, he would never be Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's on a whole nother plateau. But over on the right side is where LeBron is. He's over here all by himself because he doesn't do what Michael Jordan does. And Michael Jordan didn't do what LeBron does. So we shouldn't be comparing, but I always say my argument is LeBron James is the greatest all-around basketball player we've ever seen. He affects the game in so many different ways. So many different
He does
ways.
affect.
So,
it's once you start, you know, for me, it's like when you start talking about greatness, you know what I'm saying? It's like now it is about splitting hairs now at this point because, you know, what LeBron did this season, you know, it's like nobody can argue with what he did in his 15th season. I think for me, the deciding factor for the main deciding factor for me isn't about the rings. It's the fact that Jordan actually won Defensive Player of the Year and the scoring title in the same season and the MVP and the All-Star Game MVP in the same season. That's never been done. And I think there's something, and you know, as time goes on, there's things you get removed from history. And so there's a sector of people now who don't look at Mike the same way because it's a younger generation who never saw him play. And so we're dealing with what our parents were dealing with Oscar Robinson, Kareem, Will.
Yep.
Y'all never saw Jerry West play. You never saw Elgin Baylor play. And I was like, well, I didn't need to. Did you see what Jordan just did? He just jumped over everybody. And he's 6. I didn't need to see Elgin Baylor play to know that Jordan is better than him. You know what I'm saying? But LeBron definitely, in any era, you can't. He's Karl Malone size doing things that Jordan. That to me, like
I call him. His name is Carl Paul. That's his nickname. I call him Carl Paul. He has the body size of Karl Malone, and he has the quickness of Chris Paul. Like he runs a 4.4, 4.5 40. He has a 40-inch vertical. He's 266.
He's faster than Chris Paul.
Yeah, but so he has the speed as someone who's 6'1".
Yeah.
And he has the strength of someone who's 6'9", 260 pounds, and he's running a 4.4, 4.5 40. He has a 40-inch vertical. That's unheard of. And in his 15th year, he's doing better than he's done his entire career as far as numbers are concerned. Yeah. And he's doing it with a roster that has changed over so many different times. You take him off of Cleveland, man, it's not even, I don't even believe that they wouldn't even have enough wins to be in the lottery. They couldn't even be in the lottery. They'd be like one in
they can't even be in the lottery.
1 in 8. You have to have at least 2 victories to be in the lottery. You have one in 81 for a whole season. No, man. No. That's awful. You take him off the team.
They'll be tanking without tanking.
Without tanking. So no, but I agree to this. I don't have a problem with agreeing to disagree when it comes to that, because everybody has their own opinion about it. But I honestly believe Michael Jordan's legacy would never be touched. You can't mess with him. But I just want people not to take away from the fact that LeBron James is doing what he's doing, man. The guy is.
And I believe LeBron's legacy won't be touched either. Like when it's all said and done, nobody's gonna touch his legacy. And what I'm doing now, even as I start doing this show, like I'm understanding how to appreciate people and greatness and who they are and what they bring. Because you know, when people are in the midst of doing something great, and we're gonna get back to your music because I wanna dive into some more of what you got.
Absolutely.
Amazing record. Thank you guys for jumping. I see your son is on here. I actually want to ask you this because, as I said, I want to segue into this part. You mentioned your kids. What's it like working with your son?
It's hard as heck,
what's
man.
the feeling that
it's hard
like?
You ought to bring him in here so he can tell you. It's hard as heck. The main reason why it's hard is because he's my kid and he's playing my instrument. He can't win. He won't. It would always be a test for him. So I love it, but it's a struggle because I'm a drummer, and it's my son. So what everybody else is dealing with, they won't have to deal with what he has to deal with. If I'm fussing at my keyboard player, if I'm fussing at Tyrone, if I'm fussing at John, if I'm fussing at Alan, who's the bass player, if I'm fussing at Ryan, who's the guitar player, like if I'm at Goodfellas, that's my guys. If I'm fussing at them, he's getting it here. They're only getting it here. He's the drummer, and he's my kid, so he can't win. He
said he's Alonzo Ball. Bro.
Yeah, he can't. It's a lot for him because of my expectations are going to be extremely high for him because he's been around me his entire life, so he knows how I am about my music. So it's a little testy. It's a little testy, but I love it because. Go ahead.
Do you see him in you? Do you see a lot of him in you, or is he just
absolutely?
Okay.
Absolutely. For his age, at his age, absolutely, without question, because trying to explain to him from what people fail to realize, our kids would rather hear constructive criticism and criticism from people that they admire rather than dealing with their parents. I can tell my sons about basketball all day long, man, and they will not hear me. They will not hear me. We'll go somewhere and they'll see somebody that can tell them about what I did, or they'll see a guy that they admire. Like if they were able to have a conversation with Russell Westbrook or LeBron James or Stephen Curry, and they could repeat the exact same thing I've been telling my sons the entire basketball season. Hey man, you got to learn how to use your left. And when you're going strong side, when you're down pick, just make sure you open all. And I can say the exact same thing, Shep. 2 weeks prior, they meet Steph Curry. Curry say, yeah, you got to dribble with your left and open up on your picks. Like, oh, yes, sir. That's cool. Okay, I can do that. Well, I've been told you behind that just the other day. But they'd rather listen. They'd rather take that. I can tell my son, yo, stay here. Don't move the whole song because I need you to be a diverse guy. I need you to show these people that you can play this way, and then you can go play with that person to play this way. And he'd be like, okay, play it his own way. And then another drummer or another musician that he highly respects can come and say it, and then he'll call me like, yo, Pops, yeah, I remember what you told me. It is right because I was just talking to Chris Dave the other day, and he told me. I was like, oh, my God, dude, I just told you the same thing. You're like, yeah, you was right. I know I was right. I've been doing this for a while. All I need y'all to do is listen to me.
To tell him.
But it's somebody that he respects. It's somebody that they respect.
Man, Rex just told me, like, man.
This dude here is a nutcase. He said not
crazy.
Austin Rivers. Not Austin Rivers.
Not Austin Rivers. That's crazy. That's crazy. Bro, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
Few more questions. Tell me something. I started thinking about all of the artists, the amazing, amazing artists and singers that come out of Houston. Yourself, Cheryl Fortune, who is my favorite singer on the planet right now. I'm gonna get her on here.
Wow.
Cheryl Fortune's record, bro, like, I love Cheryl Fortune. She's dope. Of course, James is a dope artist. James Fortune's dope. Sean McLemore, Rhonda McLemore, Jabari Johnson, Zagardi Cortez, Nikki Ross, Yolanda Adams. What is it about Houston that is so special when it comes to these singers and artists on the gospel music side? Oh, and not to mention the #1 artist on the planet. I ain't even gonna say her name, but the #1 artist in the whole world.
In the whole world. Oh, yeah.
In the whole world.
And
Kim Burrell, of course, the one singer that every gospel
everybody
singer
looked up
tries to mimic themselves.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? I mentioned all them people and forgot to mention Kim Burrell. And I forgot to mention Gene Moore.
Yeah.
And I forgot to mention Cedric Ballard. See, you see what happens?
You can keep doing. You'll be doing that all day, man. Because you didn't mention Liz Vaughn, you didn't mention Takea Hicks. Yeah, like the list go Kathy Taylor. You know, but you got a list of like people like Reese Joyner. Like there's a list of folk that you can call out, man. And the list would never end because Ken Small, this like forever. Like, the list could go on and go on and go on and go on. But I honestly can't explain the level of unbelievable talent that's in Houston, Texas. Like I have no answer for you because it just is what it is, man. These people, they love their craft. They practice their craft. They practice their craft in season and out of season. Because the crazy thing is, when you bring up people like Gene Moore Jr., I can hear. Sorry, did I lose you?
Yeah, you said Gene Moore Jr. and you froze.
Yeah, that's the I had a call coming in. I don't know who it was. You have someone like Gene Moore you can hear sing in April, and then turn around and hear him and he could honestly just completely demolish you. You can hear him in July, man, and he's gotten better. Placement, tone. It's because they care about their craft, so they're practicing. They're trying to get better. They want to get better. They don't want to just become stagnant and be comfortable. Like I can't think of any Houston, singers that have become comfortable with their gifts and they're not getting better. They're not doing things to sound better. Like, I mean, Kim is the standard. So I honestly believe I don't really think we can bring her name up because I think it's unfair to her. Like, exactly. You can't bring up Kim. But everybody, man, all these other people, these people are really, really bringing their crafts to another level. That's just Houston.
Man, that's amazing. And living there 5 years, people ask me, like, what did you think of Houston? And I go, man, like Houston is like, it's my second home. Like I still have a lot of family there. And so it took me like a year or two living here in LA to really start feeling like, man, Houston is a home for me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I got Chicago, which is my home, but Houston that's like close number two, and just realizing like how much pure talent there is in that city. I just think it's on the verge of like really just being, if it's not already, like a hub. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
Like it's on the verge of like really being a hub, and you know, I want to just see more now. You know, what is it about certain cities? And I know Houston has had this challenge like other cities, so I don't want to make this directed at Houston in particular. So let's just make this general. What makes it a challenge for some cities to really understand what they have in with their abilities and actually come together and do something together? When I look at I was watching the Def Comedy Jam 25th anniversary special, and I saw all the great comedians that are living right now under one roof, and how comedians understand, I got to put my other people on, because the only way I'm going to survive in this industry is if I got some other people around me who I can put on and help. Like Martin put Tracy Morgan on. You know what I'm saying? Martin discovered a lot of comedians and put them on, and really helped to cultivate and nurture. What is it that's about music on the gospel music scene where there's a lack of celebration and really helping to put, and I hate the description of putting people on, but for lack of a better terms, what is that birthed out of? Because I feel like there should be more platforms where I still remember I did a Christmas concert. I had it was me, you, and Nikki Ross. You know what I'm saying? Like those should be happening all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like what's the deal with the lack of putting people on, and then the amount of negativity and hate that happens? What's your view on that?
I think a lot of times, man, we're extremely immature. You know, I think we're immature, and we believe. Shep, if I told you how many people I can honestly say I put on, or I brought to the light, or people I pushed forward, or people that I wanted to be seen before me, I lost deals because I tried to take people into deals with me rather than me getting the deal first and then bringing them on. I tried to take. I wanted to, and that's the way I've always been. I'm like I'm the over and under guy. You know, I like dealing with the over and under, and my over under is the overlooked and the underrated. I don't like going out getting a whole bunch of. It's easy to sell a song. Just to keep it 100 with you, it's easy to sell a song as an artist. If I live in Houston and I got all these Houston singers and art and musicians and all that, and I go to Chicago and I know Kim McFarlane has a name. I know that Donald Lawrence has a name. I know that Keisha McFarlane has a name. I know Todd has a name. Why would I go all the way to Chicago to grab all of those people when I have those same people right here? If you go and listen to my record, my first album was nothing but Houston artists, nothing but Houston people. I didn't have to go to Chicago. I didn't have to go to LA. I didn't have to go to Detroit. It's easy for me to take a song like Thank You and say, instead of using Nikki Ross, I'm going to go and use Kiara Sheard. Kiara has a name already. Nikki is an unbelievable artist who's known. Why not have, and she's known within the city, and she's done some things, other things as well. Why not push her out there? Why not let her do the song? You know, so I've always wanted to use the people that were in my city. Like, even for this album, I think I did I stepped outside of the city, but I did use some of my Houston people. But
well,
the
you had
artists
Tommy
that I
and
used,
Toby though, boy. Woo.
but But the thing is,
Sheesh.
a lot of people are not even hip to Tommy and Toby, man. That's the
Man.
crazy part. These are two amazing girls from Kansas City, Moo, and we're not even familiar with them. So I feel like it's my obligation as someone who complains about the state of music. Like we're not elevating those that should be elevated. We're not paying
Yeah.
attention to the people like Toby and Tommy. These girls have been doing this for years. They've been singing background for Donald Lawrence for I don't know how long. But they're
Yeah.
artists. They were artists
Real
before they
artist.
started singing with DL. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I want to always LaDessa Brown, man. Like I don't know if you've heard God's Word. God's Word is a song that's on my album, and
Hmm.
she's she absolutely demolished the record, man. Like I had to cut the record short. I faded the record because she came back in and went crazy again, and we were on that song for 3, 4 more minutes. So yeah, man, I'm all about I want to elevate us all. I want to make sure I'm trying my
Yeah.
best to, put other people on because I see the gift in them. And that's the A&R
Yeah.
in me. So
Yeah.
as far as coming together, I just think some of us are a little bit immature. And until we
Yeah.
mature in our thinking and we start looking at the way you asking, like, why don't we just all come together and do something and we don't have to worry about who's the headliner and who has this many minutes and who can, we're going to stay in the state that we're in. But dude, Houston has like the, I think
I lost you, bro. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. All right.
got me now.
I got you now. And
Okay.
everybody jumping in. Thank you guys for watching. This is Artist to Artist. I'm sitting here talking down with my boy Gary Mays. Please feel free to share this. It's very, very good information here. He's really sharing the story and just giving some, you're watching two brothers chop it up. You know what I'm saying? Two artists chop it
Absolutely.
up. And that's really what I want this to be. And I think it's real interesting, man. I want to get your take on this because, I have not shared a whole lot about some of my biggest disappointments.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be sharing more about that. But some disappointments that I've had in music, and you spoke to it, the overlooked,
Underrated.
and the undervalued and overlooked, and also some things that you're not hip to sometimes when you're coming into the industry, like, man, I got to pay a radio promoter how much money to get a song, to work a song on the radio that they can't guarantee is going to get played or placed. You know what I'm saying? And then when you start asking them questions, they're like, yo, I can't guarantee you nothing. And then you go to the radio stations directly, or you go to labels, they're asking you what you're doing, and then you tell them what you're doing. They're like, well, okay, that's cool. And then they kind of shade you. You know what I'm saying? So some of the disappointments that I've gone through have literally feeling like the amount of shade that has been thrown towards me, which is why I want to bring light to people. So I think there's been enough shade that's been thrown to artists. And I want to know, like, what have been some of your like biggest disappointments that you've had to overcome as an artist? Because to have a heart for those who have been overlooked, I feel like there may be something in that with you that you may have felt overlooked.
I'm praying that what you said. Well, what was my disappointments? Because you were breaking up for
Yes.
some reason. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now. Yeah.
Okay,
At
cool.
one time you were going in and out, but
Okay.
one of my biggest disappointments is we elevate the least talented people in our industry. We elevate them. They can be great characters, they can be great people, but this is supposed to be about the arts. You have artists that are like unbelievable artists, man. Like I would pay money to see them. I wouldn't mind sewing into them and going into, you know, a concert venue, sitting and enjoying their presence. But when those people are not getting the, you know, they're not getting the chance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's why the over and under means a lot to me, because you, like, again, there's a young lady by the name of C. Ashley Brown Lawrence who sang on my record. I think she's an amazing talent, man. Amazing talent. And she's young. She's an amazing talent. She can be groomed, but we don't have any more A&Rs. Nobody's really dealing with the A&R movement anymore. You're just taking an artist, you're throwing them against a wall, and if they stick, you take credit for it.
Mm-hmm.
If they fail, it's their fault because they weren't doing enough. I remember one time I was signed to a label, Light Records, man. I was signed to Light Records, which is basically E1. That was a man by the name of Phil White. Phil White signed me and gave me this big story, like he was going to really take care of me, man. And I trusted Phil. And it's heartbreaking to even speak about, because I honestly believe I let 2 records that I felt like were really, really good records, I put them in the hands of man, and man didn't do his part that he told me he was going to do according to contract. Mm-hmm. But I gave Phil my record, man, and I believed everything he told me he was going to do. He did nothing. He was really just basically signing me for the sake of a catalog. So you own my masters for a few years, and now you can just keep putting out these compilation records. And if you're putting out compilation records, and you got my record, you got J.J. Harrison, you got Mama Shirley, you got you have what's she's the head of Kojic, like real big time praise and worship, Judy McAllister.
Judy McAllister, yeah.
Yeah, you have all these heavy names on this, you know, on this compilation, and people are buying the compilation, but they've totally forgotten about the fact that I have a record over here with 18 songs on it. Right. That I spent mad thousands and thousands of dollars of it. But because you have guys like the name I just mentioned, who's not really investing into me as a new artist. Mm-hmm. We don't break new artists anymore. New artists don't break anymore. They break themselves, and then the record companies come and swoosh in and take a whole lot of credit. That's one of my biggest disappointments. Take me back to when Puffy was going out and finding Craig Mack. Take me back when Puff was finding Biggie. Take me back when Puff found Faith, and he found 112 and Total and all. He built an entire roster, man, and everybody loves it. When they did the Bad Boy reunion tour, man, it was sellouts everywhere, and they didn't even have Craig there, which was the dude who started the whole label.
He also took Mad Publishing, but that's a whole.
Let me tell you something. You signed that deal, though.
Yeah. You
signed that deal. He took your publishing. Who were you before he signed you?
That's true.
Who knew you? So, but that's the game, though. You come
because a lot of people have. I remember when Black Smoke was really the label that was like putting everybody out there at one time. Like it was like everybody was popping up. Or Keith Wonder Boy, I believe. It was Evelyn Turntine under Black Smoke.
AG, it wasn't Black Smoke at first. Remember, it was Worldwide Gospel. That's what I'm talking about. Carrie's label. Yeah. Carrie's label. Man, okay. Carrie broke artists, man. Carrie broke. That's what I'm saying. People like Carrie Douglas out here breaking artists.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't ever remember him not being in the top 20 with at least one of his artists. Right now he has 3 in the top 20.
Yeah.
Because he's breaking artists. He's doing what it takes because he believes in his artists. So he goes out there and he spends the necessary money, puts them on the necessary platforms, puts out the record, make sure the record's in all the places where you can actually get to them, and making sure his artists are getting into all these promos. Like, that's A&R movement, man. We don't have that anymore.
There's definitely a balance that I feel like I've seen and heard artists that have made it, quote unquote. And I mean, when I say made it, I mean they're mainstream, and they talk about bad deals that they were in, but you know that this person had hundreds of thousands of dollars behind their name, so you were able to ride that. So now you got a name, you can coast on your own because your name was built right here. And so for the artists that never had that was really doing everything out of their pocket, out of the trunk of their car, basically trying to figure it out, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking at them like, you have no idea, you know, there's a different level of grind. You know, that A&R thing you're talking about is so real, because the A&R has to be able to grind and mold, make things happen. And it's like, I've heard the saying, don't tell me how the sausage was made, just tell me how good it tastes. You know what I'm saying? Like, people love to eat they breakfast sausage, but you don't want
they don't want to know how to make it to get to be that sausage.
To get to that point. So I think that, like, these open, honest conversations, like artist to artist, where we can kind of, yeah.
Check it. As of April 13th, man, as of April 13th of this year, I've been in the gospel music industry as an artist, as a producer and a writer for 20 years. My first rehearsal was April 13th, 1998. I called a bunch of my friends in to come and help me. I probably scared the heck out of them, because they were like, "Yo, Gary, you're a drummer. You're not." I'm like, "Yo," but I think they loved me enough to trust me and at least try it.
Yeah,
they at least tried it. And I remember, you know, and I told the story at my album release party. I taught them a couple of songs, which was "Here Am I," "I'll Go," and I have been writing and fighting and kicking and scratching ever since that first day. And to this very moment, man, 20 years later, Chef, I am still considered a new artist. I am still considered an underground artist. I have 5 records out. 5, man. Count them. You can go find them. 5 records, bruh.
Wow.
And even now, I am still considered a new artist and an underground artist. I went to 2 labels, 2 major, Light Records was a major label, man. I was on a label with Coco. I was on a label with Mama Shirley Caesar. I was on a label with J.J. Hairston. I was on the label with
was Ricky on Light?
It's Chris. Nah, he wasn't on there. He signed after I left the last time. Okay. The girls, Zael. I was on there with Zael, with Risen. I was on with, like, it was a powerhouse night. Bishop Morton. We was all on.
Dorinda
like, we
Clark,
all on.
Dorinda wasn't on Light yet. Was
she was afterward. Like,
okay.
The best thing that happened to Light Records is when Gina Miller and James Robinson took over. I don't honestly believe the guy that was there prior to them, I don't really think he was all about that life, man. He didn't understand it. He may have liked and loved gospel music, but he didn't understand how to break an artist, what you got to do, the money you have to spend to get your artist to where you need them to be. But here I am 20 years later, man, and I'm sitting out, I'm on my phone every day trying to get people to please support me. I'm an indie artist. I want to be in the chart. Like, I check the charts every day trying to see where I am, because people got to buy my records. If they don't know about it, I got to do what I got to do to make sure they find out about it. So I'm doing interviews. I'm calling friends. I'm texting friends. Hey, man, if you don't mind, can you plug my record? You know, I'm an indie guy. You know, I got to get this. You know, I got to do it the way I'm my own A&R.
One thing I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on music streaming? Because I'm a huge proponent of music streaming. I love Spotify. I love the usability of it. I love where it is now and where it's going. I know, you know, coming from being in the industry for a long time, a lot of the cats who've been around don't like it, and I know all the reasons why you don't like it. But I want to give you some insight on why I even started my playlist. Music streaming, the numbers came out last year that streaming has overtaken downloads, the payouts. And so I want to create communities like this where I can begin to curate, create playlists, and talk to artists, put it out, share the link, put it out. And it's much more of a grassroots effort. But consider this, you can get 1 million streams on Spotify a lot quicker than you can get 1 million plays on gospel radio. You can get 1 million plays on YouTube, 1 million plays on Apple Music. by going out and creating these communities and these movements. And if you're a huge student of music, you love hip hop, Puff, like the movement that they created, that is now happening in other industries. And so I want to get your thoughts on music streaming, because I really love talking to people about it. And I like to kind of nudge them in that direction to go, hey, consider maybe pushing it on this way. That's just my thoughts. You know, I'm kind of a bridge. It's funny when you say you've been doing this for 20 years. I know people will tell you, bro, how in the world you've been doing it? There's no way in the world that you've been doing anything 20 years. Like, you still look like you in your 20s. And so, so I'm not gonna ask you how old you are. You know,
man, I tell my age with pride. I'll be 45 in August, bro.
What? Bro.
I'll be 45 in August, bro.
Bro.
I tell it with pride.
Bro, so man, like like, first of all, that's amazing. So here's something that I know that you're gonna have an event. Like, don't take for granted what you look like. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna carry you, bro. Your visuals, your whole swag, that's gonna carry you so much further than what some of these people in the industry can take you. Like, I believe that's why I'm doing these things. Like, this is off the beaten path, bro. It's time to show people we can carve our own paths, and people will have to come back to us. So, yeah, give me your thoughts on music streaming, because I saw you chuckling. I just want to get a good sense of it.
I'm not a Shep. I'm not a fan. I'm not a 100% fan of streaming, because as an artist, the moment I found out what happened to Pharrell, man, Pharrell, you remember the song Happy?
Yeah.
Pharrell, I think he did like, man, it was like some astronomical amount of numbers with the streams. Like, it was crazy. It was like up in the, the 50, 60 million or 75 million or some crazy number, man. And the payout was $3,000.
That was on now. In all fairness, they didn't tell the whole story to that. That was one platform, and that was only the writer portion. That wasn't the full length of the publishing. They also didn't tell the story of what he made in the life of that song. So think about your song being placed in that major motion picture.
But I know, no, don't start adding all those other entities. No, Jay, no. I'm talking about strictly what he did with streaming. Strictly what he did with streaming.
But that was one platform.
Streaming, only streaming.
No, that was only Pandora.
No, it would, but no.
No, check the article. It was only Pandora. It was only, so the thing is that I think the issue with streaming is that some of them pay at different scales. So you got Tidal, who's owned by Jay-Z and other artists.
They're official, but they're expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive. So when you have services that are free, so you got Pandora, which you can get a free Pandora service where you got commercials, yada, yada, yada. Essentially, it's like radio. Correct. So he got paid that, but it didn't mention whatever his BMI check was.
No, but that BMI wasn't about the streaming though. The BMI didn't pay our streaming. Streaming was paying our streaming. That's
something that is not taught to us.
That is right there.
Pharrell Morris just 27 songwriter world. Right. From
43 million plays, man.
From Pandora.
But
so what I'm saying is though, bruh, is that some things are rich people problems as well. And I think the fight that I believe where you and I are, some indie artists, we are in a different tussle to win. We have so much to offer the world that the tool, we got to use the tools that are given to us right now.
Jay,
Go
Pete,
ahead.
let me interject. Look at the fact that Pharrell had 43 million streams of Happy. 43 million, man. And it's probably 43 plus. Morris is just being nice. It's 43 million plus streams, and he was cut a check for 2,700. Now the chances of Atmosphere Setter getting to 43 million streams
Right.
in a gospel arena, this was worldwide, man. Everybody
Right.
who was on Pandora, he got paid 2,700. So somebody like me, who has a song like Hit the Deck, I'll probably, what happens if I only do 7,000 streams? Man, what is that check gonna look like? And you got all this traffic on your station, but I got 7,000 streams. So what is my check gonna be like? And you're playing my music, giving me stations and all that type. Like again, I don't knock the streaming thing, man. It is what it is. It's what we're living in now. People going to stream I've already seen yesterday. Somebody told me straight up, they're never going to lose their subscription for Apple Music. They're going to always have Apple Music. So they're not worried about not having to download. I'm asking everybody to purchase. But they have the $11.99 that they spend every month for Apple Music. Why purchase? Same thing for Google Play and all them other people that stream. And hey, Spotify and whoever, go for it. I really just want you to have the music. But from the business side of things, it's just a little, and I
mean, I get the frustration. I understand though that streaming is definitely it's going to be harder to sway anybody in gospel to turn to streaming. And there's a reason. One of my homies from Chicago is a producer, Nez and Rio. Nez from Chicago I believe he produced a joint for A$AP Rocky. And A$AP is one of the biggest rappers out. And so I was kind of on the fence about stuff with streaming, and he was like, "Bro, you got to get your Spotify up." I was like, "Man," he was like, "Bro, let me show you what I'm getting in 1 month from one song on Spotify. From one song, bro. 15 grand off one song.
In 1 month, right?
In 1 month.
And what's the name of that artist?
It was A$AP Rocky.
And your name is, and my name is, and we in what industry?
But I'm saying though, bro, is that it can be done, but we have to use strategies that's going to separate us in certain ways. So I feel like there's certain things that are more wide open for us to get into that we're kind of like, man, I get it. Trust me.
Look what Morris wrote at the bottom. Look what Mingo wrote at the bottom. And this is why I pressed up CDs, man, because I'm better off selling CDs on Sunday mornings at a Sunday morning service than I am concentrating on streaming. As a gospel artist who is basically considered new, I'm 20 years deep and I'm still considered new and unknown.
But I'm saying do both. I'm not saying choose one over the other. See what I'm saying? I'm not saying, hey, bro, don't ever get CDs, man. I went out Sunday. I hadn't been out singing anywhere on a Sunday in a while as an artist. It had been about a year or so. And I forgot, man, I got so much inventory that from my last record. I bought a box, almost sold out of my box. So the thing that's beautiful about gospel is that we have venues we can go to every week where we have physical copies. So we're going to be able to do that. But the online presence and the type of reach we can have now because of social media, you can be reaching influencers right now that ain't even in your industry. You know what I'm saying? You can be reaching people that are somewhere else, like, hey man, I'm a gospel artist, or blah blah blah, like check the song out, I heard you were going through this. Now is the time where we can really take control and be smarter with our brands and create our brands and use our music to like really build our brand to do something even more. So that's why I'm pushing it, because here's the thing. One thing I've learned about living out here is that you gotta look at yourself. You can't just insulate yourself in this one thing that you do, because the world is going to see you as something bigger, whether you realize it or not. And I didn't realize that until I started. I was teaching at a private school in Calabasas. I was teaching some like for real A-list people. Like, I was working at the school that James Cameron and his family owned, like Avatar, Terminator 2, Titanic. James Cameron being able to teach his kids and be able and they saw me as Jay Shep, like, oh wow, Jay Shep, you're blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, this ain't church. So now I see a path where I can carve something for myself, and all people can take it in. I think one thing that church has done, not church, let me take that out, because I don't want to blame church. What the gospel music industry has done to some artists, it's put us inside of a system that's extremely broken and that isn't always looking to be progressive, and it forces us to keep doing the same things the same way when we could be like right here. Like, because bro, your record is, there's nobody's record who I've heard that's better than yours. Like, real talk. And I'm not saying that to gas you up, bro. I'm saying it because you are an icon of what you do. And so iconic music has to have a way to be pushed in such a way where you say, okay, God, I'm gonna look at things a little bit differently. And and I'm telling you, that's one of the reasons why I'm really pushing this Spotify playlist, because there's a reason why the entire world is on Spotify listening to Cardi B, listening to Drake, listening to J. Cole, listening to every huge artist in the world. Those charts, that's real. So
you know why?
Why is that?
Because I can download multiple artists and stream it for $11 rather than having to buy one artist for $11. So it's a money move. And now you have kids, you can talk to your parents and they'll give you the okay to download the Apple Music and get the app and iTunes and spend $11, and now you can listen to every artist you want to listen to and download it to your phone and listen to it for $11 rather than you spending $11 for every artist that you want to hear. So it's cheaper. So of course, when it goes to the point of being cheap, man, do you remember just 15 years ago, they were selling records for $15.99, $20.99, and it was 10 songs, 12 songs, 15 songs, 17 songs, 21 songs. It was ease.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's selling their records for $9 now, man. 18 songs, $9. Double CD, $10. It's because we got to lower our prices, because nowadays you don't really need us. You don't need the CD. You can easily go in, just purchase Apple Music or Spotify or Tidal and listen to every artist that you love. Every day, all day, stream it. Just let it keep playing. And if you want to hear it, go back and play it again. And you don't have to purchase it outright. You don't have to buy the actual album itself. You can just purchase the streaming services.
And so in the long run, what that does as compound, so if you look at simple math, compound interest, if I say I add, I added your music on my Spotify account as well as my Apple Music account, and I stream it on both accounts, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say I'm gonna take a whole day and I'm gonna stream G May's record 10 times in a day on both platforms. What that does is every time somebody adds your song to a streaming platform, that's going to count as a sale. It's going to count towards a sale. Now, it's going to have to accumulate. Let's say I think it's 150 people adding your full album accumulates to is what Nielsen is saying is a sale, right? So, but here's the thing. Every time someone plays music after it's added, so let's say I love your song, what's the one Real Mean That You
Love.
Every time I play that, it's generating income. Every time it's played. So let's say I download it, and let's say I was like, man, I really like this song.
Hold up, Shep. Hold up. What, wife? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, my bad.
No, it was good. I was trying to get my wife's attention.
I pay $1, and it's mine, and I got it, and I listen to it however many times I want to. Now, what could happen is we download it, is we have it, and then we go stream. So that's another way of doing it. But every time you stream something, there is money that is being accrued to the artists, to the writers. The biggest issue that is going to have to be worked out is how the payouts happen, because there's no regulation on Spotify pays out this much, Tidal pays out this much, Google Play pays out this much, Apple Music pays out this much. You know what I'm saying? And I think YouTube pays out this much. So I have a song on YouTube that was never published, a song I wrote for my wedding, never published. I just put up the video. I was like, this is a song I did for my wedding. Got over 1 million views, and I made like $2,000 on YouTube views on a song that wasn't even purchased, that wasn't even published. I never put the song out. You feel what I'm saying? $2,000.
Hold up. So you good with it? No, you didn't. So you didn't publish it. You good with $2,000 from 1 million streams, 1 million views, 1 million plus views, and you got $2,000 for it.
I'm good with that.
So okay.
I'm good with that because what it says to me is I can create more songs, right, out of a catalog that can get more views than that can get more streams than that. So now it becomes for someone like you or I who create lots and lots and lots and lots of music, right? So now my mindset about releasing music becomes different. I'll do single EP. I'll just start working singles, promote them on streaming platforms. There's different type of promotions where you can get your spins up.
Paul, okay, hold up. See, and this is that mentality is one of the reasons why, as an A&R, that bothers me. Because we're missing the point. Now we just gonna keep dropping singles, and we're not giving people a full body of work. I think anything less than 10 songs hurts us. And let me finish. When we start doing singles and all we doing is dropping singles, I know an artist that dropped 5 or 6 singles, man, ever before they dropped the record. Before they even dropped the record. Like, why are you doing that? Then when you drop
I got 5 records out though. I got 5 albums.
But
so
then we drop different. No, it's not, Shep. When you have 5 records in your past. So those records are past now. What are you doing now? We want to hear what's on your heart now. What is your heart saying musically right now? Give us that full body of work so we can listen to it. And who knows what you're going through. Those 6 singles could have been a part of that one album. But we keep doing singles. We're not giving it people. And now they're going to start buying one song at a time. They don't buy the full album. When you pull out an album, they buy 1 song here, 2 songs there, maybe 3. This is one of the we got to stop. I think 1 single, maybe 2, to get your album promotion going, and then we run with the whole album. But when we start dropping this single, that single, then another single, then another single, then another single, or put out an EP with 2 of those same singles, we're killing ourselves, man. People, I honestly believe going back to the way they used to do it, we got to have that mentality. We got to get back to doing full bodies of work, a full body of work, man. And then it's not just album fillers. If I can jump on that subject as well. When we give these people our records, we're giving them 100% of everything that we can muster up to put into this record. Our complete hearts, man. Because if it's from your heart, it's gonna speak, man. I promise you. I know it without question. I give the people everything I have every time I put out a record. I don't ever want to give them. If I have 12 songs on my record and I have 3 hot songs and those are my 3 singles and those are the ones I keep promoting. These are the ones, and then my other 9 songs are songs that people don't like, so they don't purchase them. So they keep buying those 3. They just buy those 3 songs, but I spent thousands of dollars for those other 9 songs. That's what people got to get in mind. If I put out a whole body of work, I want you to listen to the entire body of work. And it's my job to convict your heart to listen to every song. Instead of giving you album filler. If I give you an album filler like a song, you know, it don't even fit the record, but you put it on there because you needed another spot to make number 10. No, man, every song I put out, I want to be a single. I want every song I ever put out to be a single. I want it to be lyrically right. I want it to be musically right. I want to be able to sing it 15 years from now. 15 years from now. Kurt Carr will be singing in the sanctuary forever. Total Praise came out when, man? These are the way this is the
so I'm not disagreeing. I agree with the whole artistic process. And so what I'm saying is, as far as my process of putting out, my thought is what a lot of artists are doing, and I've been taking notes and seeing what about this model can I adopt or adjust. I feel like if people have a lot of music, there's a way to spread out the releasing of your music and then put out a collective. So if there's 12 months in a year, why can't you say single EP, single EP, full collective body of work, and then put everything on there? Because I'm looking, I know, talking to, and I know you got to go, bro. I know we've been on this thing like super long, because this has been an amazing. Thank you guys for jumping in and sharing your thoughts. Feel free to share this, because we can talk this like all day. Like I enjoy hearing different perspectives on this, because to me there's a need for more dialogue from artists to figure out, like, how do we refine each other and refine our process and make each other better. Before you go, I want you to just tell me, because you told me that your anniversary is coming up, what is the greatest lesson that you learned from your wife? I want you to speak to that. What's the greatest lesson that your wife has ever taught you?
So far, man, I think it has to be about my procrastination. I'm a procrastinator to the 10th power, bro. Like I don't I can deal with pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can deal with pressure, but I can't deal with stress. So even if a little pressure is on me, I can still get it done, and I procrastinate because I know I can do it. But she's taught me how to really plan my, get my stuff together, man. That's one thing I really love about it, because she's she wake up in the morning, feet hit the ground, and she's running, son. Like, she's knocking out every task that she has. Like, for the last couple of days, she's been all over her work with her businesses, just to make sure that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday belong to us for our anniversary. So she's taking care of everything to make sure we got all the time that we'll want, and she's pulling off a lot of tasks, man. Like, I'm not talking like a couple of hits. Like, I'm talking covering, making sure 30-something people are covered, flights are covered, product is here, and backline is ready, the tour bus is good, the flights are like, she's doing a lot.
She's a manager? Is she an artist manager? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she works for the artist, her.
Oh, okay. Dope.
Yeah, that's
Dope.
that's one of the people that she deals with. So she, you know, she's really she stays on me a lot about procrastinating, man. Like I'm supposed to be going back to the doctor to have my what is it called? Uh, is it thyroid? What's in here?
Thyroid.
Yeah, I had to go get that checked. But me, I'm like, I feel okay. No, you going to get it checked this week. Like I'm gonna procrastinate. I'll wait till next week or week after. Like, no, she's not like that, man. She stays on me about my medicine, making sure I take because I had to take acid reflux medicine, that Nexium stuff, and I wait middle of the day to take it. No, man, she hit me in the morning. Maybe you take your medicine. It's like 7 a.m., man. I'm gonna get it in a minute.
Right.
You're gonna take it now. Here's your water. Here's your That's one thing she really, really stays on me about, man, and that's procrastination. Because I procrastinate off. It's bad, man. It's bad.
Wow. Well, man, congratulations to you all on your anniversary. This is gonna be my last question, and I'm gonna make this something that I ask every artist that comes on. You're 99 years old. The Lord is saying, Gary, you got one more day left. I'm gonna give you 3 songs to listen to before I call you home. What are the 3 songs that you're gonna listen to?
I can guarantee you, it's gonna be something by Joe, without question. It's gonna be something by Brandy, and I don't know, man. If it's my last day, I might want to hear something that got me over. So I probably want to hear Grateful or something off this new album.
That's good, man. That's great, man. Man, G Maze, thank you for like sitting down and chopping it up and being real and transparent and you know, just sharing with my audience and your audience. And I really, really, really just speak God's blessings over you. This is an amazing record, Victory in Black and White. You guys, it's available for download on iTunes. It's on every single digital platform. If people want physical CDs, would you please put in the comments how they can get the physical CDs? I don't know if you're doing signed CDs or whatever. There's a website for us to get signed CDs from you. Please let that be known, and I will put that in the comments as well. But I know you're busy, and I appreciate you sitting down with us on today. And we're going to talk to you again, my brother.
Jay Shep, thank you so much for having me, man. I appreciate it. For those that don't know, I did release a new record, Victory in Black and White. G Maze is my first solo effort. I'm actually forcing myself to sing more on this one. So prayerfully, if you're a friend of my music and you've been following me for the last 20 years, you know, you'll enjoy it. I have some great featured artists on here. Some that you know, some that you may not know, but you will know because they're incredible. I have some great musicians on this record, man. I was able to finally, after many years of talking about it, finally getting a chance to work with Thad Tribbett. He was the MD for the project.
Thad was the MD.
Yeah, Thad
I thought
MD,
you
man.
MD.
Yeah, I'm the overseer. I had the final say, but I have a lot of my. You know, he did a phenomenal job of doing his job, man. So anybody, if you're familiar with me, you know my music. I've never wanted to sound like anybody else. I came into the game, started doing what I do because of Kirk Franklin, because of John Key, and because of Fred Hammond. Those 3 guys really played a big part, but I never wanted to sound like them. I wanted to sound like them. So if you're familiar with me and you've heard my music before, you know my sound. So, but long story short, yeah, that was a great part of my record, as well as Tyrone Bell, Ryan Hainsworth, Jeremiah McConico, my son Ardarian, Alan Golden, Humes. Yeah, I know I'm gonna get in trouble. Once you get the record, you'll be able to see all of those names in the credits, man. I didn't leave anybody out in the credits. I used Chris Stevens for horns, Valentino Marcos from San Antonio was on horns, and this crazy kid from Dallas Fort Worth area, man, a dude named Joe Williams played horns on We Worship You, and that's the one that people have been talking about the most, man. But
Yeah.
it was a phenomenal night, and to have Thad be a part of it that night, man, and have the rest of those guys work with me over the past 2 years to get everything to you guys, man. Luke Austin.
That's the homie, man.
Nicole.
He played on my last record. He just played on my record.
Yeah, Chi-Town.
Yeah.
Chi-Town. But Nicole Neely did live strings for me. Man, I was blessed, man. Everybody that I wanted to work with, I was able to talk in to being a part, man. So it was a great job. It was Kenny Diggs played bass on a couple of tunes. I mean, Kenny Diggs actually played a lot of my my demo stuff for this album, but I kept one of the songs that he played on because he absolutely 100% smacked it. But yeah, man, it was a great night. So those of you who are looking for hard copy CDs, you can go to my website and you'll be able to get it from there. Please go and purchase, man. I'm an indie artist, and I'm gonna probably, at the rate I'm going right now, I'll probably always be indie. So your support is my record company. My record company are the people that love my music. So if you love my music, please continue to purchase it. Please continue to tell your friends and family that, G Mace just dropped a new record, man. And I would love, and appreciate your support. It means a lot. What up, Hen?
That's what's up, bro. All right, man. Well, I'm not going to hold you any longer. You've been tuning in to Artist to Artist. Our very first episode was a success. I'm so happy about it. So my boy G Maze, I'm your host, Jay Shep. We'll talk to you again the next time.
Yep.
Peace and blessings.
Oh, boy.
All right.